The device for the handlebar have one axle in this direction and one axle in this direction. So what you need to do is to be sure that the axle in this direction is parallel to the direction of the fork. So we need to set up like this, and then screw. This device is a 2-axle accelerometer, one axle to the front, one axle to the top. It's made, for example, for the rear wheel. You really need to pay attention that one axle is in the vertical direction, and you need to pay attention that there is a spacer between the hanger and the dropout of the frame to match correctly between the two parts. It's also possible to assemble it in another way, for example like that or like that. But what is very important is to note that which axle is in the vertical position to make easier the post-treatment. This device is a 2-axle accelerometer, one axle in this direction and one axle in the vertical direction of the device. What is very important is that the device is aligned in the plane of the bike, so like that. It's also possible to attach it like this on the frame. You need to pay attention that always this axle and this axle are in the plane of the frame. About the potentiometer, it's important to pay attention that the potentiometer is parallel to the rear shock, and also that the travel of the potentiometer is superior to the travel of the rear shock. This device is a 2-axle accelerometer. One axle is made to measure acceleration in the direction of the fork, and one axle in the perpendicular direction of the fork. You can assemble it on the axle like this, or it's possible to assemble it directly on the fork, or you can also assemble it in different way here, for example like that, and you really need to pay attention that there is spacer to be sure that the hanger is in the plane parallel to the plane of the bike. Another point is to pay attention that the travel of the potentiometer is superior to the travel of the fork. Once all the sensors are assembled on the bike, one thing you need to do is to do an init file which gives you the initial position of all the sensors when they are on the bike. So you need to put the bike in this position, for example, without rider on it, and switch on the app, switch on all the device, start the scan, when all the devices are connected, you switch on the init file, and then you start the data acquisition for about 5 seconds. Then you stop, and don't forget to switch off the init file. And then the bike is ready for a data acquisition ride. To reload the device, you need to plug the charger. Then on the program select, you need to select LiPo battery. Press start. You need then to press start to choose ampere and voltage. In our case, we need to have 0.2, so you can change with the arrow. In our case, we need to have 7.4 volts. You can also change with the arrow. Then you need to plug the device in the plug made for charge, which is the first one. And then you need to have a long press on start. You need to check you have the same number on the R and S, and when it's okay, you can start by pressing start. and then wait that buzzer says you that it's fully charged.